Any project that I envision is a process. And process is a good mixture of personal experiences and research. As I left Iran as a young boy, and I've had the occasion to grow many years in Morocco, thanks to my father having set his tent, or his flag, I would say, in Morocco, I grew more and more influenced by some of the crafts and the arts of that country. So the colors that you see here are mostly colors that are influenced by the colors that I think are close to my heart as growing in that country. For instance, the brown that you see in the background of most of these pieces that are called the talisman panels are henna. I use real henna on the background of most of these paintings to put together the idea that the materials that I use and the message that I'm trying to bring forth are actually married. The black, the green, and the other three colors that you actually see in all of the paintings, it's the same exact palette. The significance of the triangle form in my works has to do with the fact that first off, the whole series are called the talisman panels, and I used a continuity of thought that started the day I read an article in an essay written by a Moroccan thinker called Salimani Naji that said, it was an essay for the Pierre Berger Foundation while they were trying to get to a point where the curation of the Berber Museum of Marrakesh had to be opened, and there was like a preliminary essay, and she said that there was in Amazigh and Berber history a 2,000, 3,000 year-old tribe, if you look well into it, that comes from the Phoenician times and before, a permanence of trace, which is the name of this show. And I had the liberty of choosing her termination. In the central belief of the Amazighs, you have the triangle. The triangle, the way I actually had the occasion of understanding, I'm sure there are many other thinkers or scholars that have different approaches of it, but comes from the belief of the goddess Tanit. And the goddess Tanit, a lot of Lebanese people know about. It was the most powerful goddess of the Phoenicians, of Carthagena, and the whole peninsula. And at that time, the goddess Tanit was the goddess, and she was a female, very important here, a female goddess of the star, the sun, and the moon. Chob, the stars, also you can see in some of my paintings. And it comes down to the fact that she, for the people, for the tribe, was the example or the goddess of fertility and fortune. Stars and the wool, especially starting the stars, have to do with what we call a cosmogony. A cosmogony is a constellation of different symbols that create a culture, okay? Mostly spiritual. And here, as I talked earlier about the triangle, the cross also has a very, very ancient, even more ancient meaning than the triangle, because it is actually the idea of cosmos that goes even further than the Berber tradition. I mean, in all ancient civilizations, I mean, the cross is present, and it's a very powerful sign that had a big impact on me visually, and I developed it with a big thrust in this series. Because I thought that it gave a very specific rhythmic quality to it, and that I mirror very, very often in Berberic rug making. But the wool has a more central role in my work, because it's got a twofold meaning. First, because wool means richness in all tribes. Wool means baraka, means luck in all tribes. I wanted to introduce in a collaborative experience a work with the northern women weavers of North Africa that I was very interested in, because I found that it was very surprising to see that it was from generation to generation that these artisans had passed these messages through the centuries. And they represented, as Sophia Bouchain, a Lebanese writer that wrote the introduction of my catalog, said, the guardians of memory. And I thought that the idea was very enticing. And I developed inside the series a collaborative experience with these women in Northern Africa, and they weaved into my paintings as we worked forward through the process of painting. You will see in the paintings that I have different colors of wool. The wool that I used, most of it was entirely white and raw. And that in my workshop that I set in Tangiers for 3 months, because I went there to work the series in Tangiers, to create them there and to collaborate there, I dyed the wool myself, then had the wool weaved in by the weavers independently. So yes, I think that the stars and the wool here work together quite often, because often the weavers have woven the stars.